Hey guys, Sabo here. Wanted to walk you through the process I used to finally decide on the Leupold VX6 1x6 fire dot BDC optic for 3-gun competition. First, I'd like to review 5 optics that I researched before finally making the decision on Leupold. Then I'll get to the review of the optic itself, show you the reticle, and we'll take a look through it outside. So I actually researched about 10 to 15 different optics, but the 5 that I finally selected to delve deeper into were the Leupold VX6, Trijicon AccuPower, the Weaver Tactical, the Burris MTAC, and the Vortex Strike Eagle. I actually started out looking at the Vortex Strike Eagle, but I'll tell you why I went to the Leupold. So the basis for my comparison included about 7 items. A good, daylight bright, well-defined reticle specifically for 3-gun or CQB competition. That was my number 1 requirement. BDC drop compensation for longer shots, very good glass, good eye box, and easy to stay behind optic, true 1X, easy to adjust elevation and windage with capped turrets, and general ease of use. I then created a spreadsheet that I'm showing you now that included some of the other requirements and just some of the things that I wanted to look at. The reticle was, as I said, was number 1 for me, so I included the reticle shots in here as well. So as I started to review these optics, I looked at all of these requirements plus the 7 that I laid out earlier to make my final decision. The Trijicon AccuPower 1x4. I was hoping to really love this reticle and the scope, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. Basically in daylight there is no illumination at all. The center dot is way too small to be of any use in my opinion. So in the end you're looking at a very small dot in the center of a segmented circle that's not illuminated. If this is what you want, then the scope is for you. I wanted a dot, not a really small reference point that wasn't daylight bright. The overall reticle was also just too small. Finally, a buddy told me that I would not be happy with a 4X scope, and he was right. At 4X, even with the gorgeous glass, it's just not powerful enough for me. With all that said, I returned the Trijicon and ordered the Leupold. Now let's talk about some of the highlights. The glass. Glass is very good as it should be at this level of optic and price point. 1X seemed to be true. Eye relief was very good and optic was easy to stay behind. Magnification, 1x4, as I said before, just wasn't enough for me. Adjustments, 1/4 MOA is fine. The adjusting was tight and tactile and the cap turrets were very nice. On-off. On-off was great. It was a dial and there were off settings in between the on settings. So it's really nice to have. Wasn't that big of a deal for me. Reticle, as I said before, little or no illumination. It was just too small. Illumination at the highest level, as I just said, very bad. Didn't even see it. Trijicon really needs to work on this if they want 3-gunners to take this seriously as a red dot replacement or augmented red dot optic. Re-zeroing can be done without tools, and that was a nice feature. The Weaver Tactical 1x5. Let's just go through some of the highlights of this scope. In other videos and reviews, the glass was said to be very good for the Weaver. I looked through a similar Weaver scope at Gander Mountain and really wasn't impressed for the money as opposed to the Leupold or the Trijicon. Maybe some of their very expensive scopes have really good glass, but for $750, I expected this to be on par with those other 2. Eye relief, it was okay, but seemed kind of tight to me, and it was hard to stay behind the optic. Magnification, the 1x5 might have been enough if I could have gotten over that reticle. The adjustments, 1/4 MOA, and cap turrets. On-off, there was no in-between on-off, but again, that really wasn't important to me, so no big deal. The reticle was way too busy for me, just way too busy. And the illumination seemed good in other videos, but the reticle, I just couldn't get past it. As far as re-zeroing goes, you can re-zero it, but you need to adjust hex screws with a wrench and all that. I didn't want to deal with that if I ever wanted to re-zero my optic. So again, the Weaver Tactical, the reticle failed for me, and then the whole re-zeroing thing with tools, it did not meet my ease of use requirement. The Burris MTAC 1x4. Let's go down the list here. Glass. In other videos and reviews, glass was said to be okay. I looked through one at Gander Mountain and was not that impressed. I'd actually take the Vortex Strike Eagle over this optic and save $100. Eye relief, again, was okay, but seemed tight to me, and it was hard to stay behind the optic. Magnification, 1x4, again, is just not enough for me. So while this was in my top 5, it dropped out because of the magnification and the reticle. The adjustments are half MOA, and that's fine. They did seem tight and tactile when adjusting, and they were capped. On-off, there is off in between settings, illumination settings, which again is a nice to have, but again, really wasn't that big of a deal for me. And then the reticle. There's two reticles here. There's the ballistic AR reticle, which just seems too busy to me, and that dot is just kind of okay. The ballistic CQ reticle, I've looked at it, it's just too small and again, too busy in my opinion. And the BDC dots are not, quote, clean enough for me. I like very clean lines in my BDC, and those, I just didn't like them. Illumination, again, at the highest level or near the highest level was good. And the re-zeroing required some tools and hex screws, so it just didn't meet my ease of use requirements. So while I initially hoped this would be one of the better contenders, the Burris MTAC just didn't make the final cut. The Vortex Strike Eagle 1x6. I began looking at the Vortex Strike Eagle because I thought for the price it would be a really good option. In fact, it's the first scope I actually looked at. The glass was pretty good, but nothing near the Trijicon or Leupold, which I wouldn't have expected for $300. There was some browning when looking through it, and the 1X did seem like it was not a true 1X. Eye relief was very good. Seemed a little tight and a little hard to stay behind, but overall, pretty good eye relief. Magnification, 1x6 is good. And again, that's what I decided that I needed to go for. Adjustments are half MOA, which is fine. They were tight and tactile when making the adjustments, and the cap turrets, again, are a nice feature. No in-between on-off, but again, I really didn't care about that, so no big deal. The reticle. I thought I would like it, but just couldn't get over not having an actual dot there. Fellow shooters who own the Strike Eagle either really love it or they don't like it at all. The illumination at the highest level or near highest level is daylight bright, but at the very highest level it does seem to wash out a bit and gets a little fuzzy. Still, I like the illumination. Re-zeroing can be done without tools, but it's kind of a strange little process with a slot in the turret and all that. I don't know, it's just kind of strange. I do also have to note that Vortex warranty is second to none. If I hadn't bought the Leupold, I probably would have really tried to like the Vortex's reticle, because for the money, you just can't go wrong with this optic. So guys, thanks for hanging in there as I review those other optics. I did decide on the Leupold VX6 1x6 fire.BDC, which I have here mounted in a American Defense high mount, quick detach. So You know, what came in the box with the Leupold was obviously the Leupold optic, a set of lens caps, which I actually like these better than the flip up, and then a total cover, which I won't use because I have a throw switch on this optic. But let's go ahead and go down the requirements. As far as the glass is concerned, glass is phenomenal. I'll show you that outside here in a minute. Eye relief, again, very good. It's very easy to stay behind this optic. I'll show you that outside again. Magnification, again, it's a 1x6 optic, so you've got the 1x6 magnification settings here. I did add this throw switch to it. I think I paid $12 a year ago on Amazon. They're up to about 16 bucks now. You can pay whatever you want to. You want to pay 100 bucks for a throw switch? Go ahead. I may get a better one later, but right now I just wanted to spend my money on other things. We do have the focus here, so we've got the focus ring. And as far as the adjustments are concerned, we have quarter MOA adjustments. So as I come over here, let me kind of get over here. Hopefully that comes into focus. You know, the clicks are kind of mushy, but again, as long as it's going to hold 0, which it has so far, that's fine with me. I do like, again, you know that ease of use was one of my top priorities, and this re-zeroing feature here is awesome. So I just lift it up, click it back, and I have just re-zeroed. Both elevation and windage operate that way. Now, as far as the on and off goes, for the power, it is a push button on and off. So as I push the button here, the reticle will get brighter. Don't know if we can see that here. Let's see if we can. There we go. And you may see it, you may not, but when I reach the highest setting, it will blink. When I reach the lowest setting, it will blink. So I always know when I'm at the highest and when I'm at the lowest. So with that said, the other nice feature about this optic is the auto on-off. So you leave it alone for 5 minutes, it automatically turns itself off. You pick the gun back up, it turns it back on to the brightness you had before. I love that feature because when I'm in a match, in between stages, the gun sits there. I don't have to worry about whether I've left it on, whether I need to turn it off. When I pick the gun up, I'm ready to go. The optic is set at the proper illumination level for me. I'm going to show you the reticle and the BDC drops outside when we go out there. I've shown you the focus, talked about the illumination. Let's go ahead and just kind of get this mounted on the rifle, just so you can kind of get the whole picture. Note that there is a chamber flag in the chamber, so there is no cartridge in the chamber, and there's no magazine in the weapon. So flip this over, set it down here, and again, I've got this great American Defense quick detach mount, and there you go. There she is mounted on my AR. I am in love with this optic. I just have to tell you, all of that hard research really did pay off. This is the optic for me. Let's go look at the reticle now out in the garage. So we're out in the garage. We've got the Leupold VX6 Fire.BDC fired up. I've got the reticle at the highest setting. I have it at 1 power. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea what the eye box looked like here, and I'm going to move things around a little bit. It's a really good eye box. I've already shot this in a 3-gun match. I love it. You may not see the full brightness of the red dot here or appreciate it because it's a video and all that stuff, but I am telling you this dot is daylight bright. Let's go ahead and see if we can dial up the scope now. So I'm at 1 there. Let me go to 2. That's 2. Here's 3. So that's 3. Still see the dot really well. This is 4. Eye box still looks great. This is 5. And here comes 6. So from 1 to 6, you should be able to see those the BDC markings really well now. I'm sorry I have a fence in the way, but just what it is. Let me quickly come back out to one. There we go. And then I'm going to zoom the camera out here so you can kind of see what the overall eye box might look like. Again, very good glass, very clean transition. The switch from 1 to 6 is tight, so as I said earlier in my other video, I do have a switch on that. Overall, very happy with this scope. So guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I hope this gave you some information and that you can make an informed decision on the type of optic that you're looking for. One thing, if you don't like it, send it back. Remember, I ordered that Trijicon, didn't like it, sent it back. I ended up with the optic that I hope will work really well for me. So far in 2 3-gun matches, I have loved it. So as always, shoot straight, and we'll talk to you later. Please like this video, and I really appreciate it. Bye guys.